Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Mark Pope. I'm sitting in for the illustrious Moon. Moon's out having fun today. We do allow him to do that on occasion. So let's jump right in because we have one thing after the other here on this Friday. It's going to be a busy Friday, a lot going on in our world today. So first, let's talk about the big fundraiser tomorrow, right, Coach Strother?
That's right.
Yep.
We got Hope Fest going on tomorrow, beginning at 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Park International in downtown Lafayette.
Yeah. So remember, we have a statewide audience now, so we have to kind of broaden our horizons. And look, folks, it's absolutely gorgeous weather. It's Chamber of Commerce weather. I know the Chamber of Commerce is closed on Saturday, but the point being, come down to Lafayette because this is for an excellent, excellent cause. Now, Coach, tell us about the special needs program over at St. Thomas More High School in Lafayette, because that's what this fundraiser is intended for. Tell us about that program.
That's
please.
correct. Yeah, it's called the St. Thomas More Options Program. It's a special program for special needs young people. Gives them an opportunity to have an education at St. Thomas More. It's got some phenomenal tools and technology and resources for those kids to really integrate and have an awesome full high school experience, with the rest of the students. And the other 50% of the net proceeds of Hope Fest this year is going to the Boys and Girls Club of Acadiana.
And those are two programs that are pretty much hand in glove, as it were. I mean, both with a great focus, people who need special attention in our world, and that's what we're good at down here in Louisiana. I'm not going to say South Louisiana because maybe, who knows, maybe we'll have some folks drive down from Shreveport to come down to Hope Fest, which again is tomorrow. What are the times? I mean, bands. If we say Mark Broussard, loads of bands. I don't know if you're able to name them off all one after the other, but loads of bands. Mark Broussard is an excellent musician from down here locally, and you're going to have some other bands. Can you name all the bands that will play tomorrow?
I can, and I'll go from Mark Broussard backwards. Mark Broussard is going to be playing around sunset, 7:30, and he is every bit worth driving from wherever. If you've never heard him play live, he's absolutely phenomenal. But before Mark Broussard is going to be Louisiana Red opening up for Mark Broussard. They rock. Looking forward to hearing them. We've got Terry and the Zydeco Bad Boys playing before them. Charm will be playing before them. We've got Bluegrass Ensemble. We've got a wide genre of music that we're going to be hearing at this music festival tomorrow. We've got Mia Montera that'll be playing, and then Strange Theories from right down here in South Louisiana will be playing. That'll be our band lineup, and then we've got 7 other solo performers that are kicking things off at 11 a.m.
I like the bluegrass aspect you're adding. My wife, her family is from North Louisiana, and of course you have the bluegrass festivals that happen in the spring and the fall. So for those people listening outside the Acadiana area, Hope Fest, they thought about y'all as well. So come on down and enjoy it.
Yeah. Hey. In fact, Brandon, Louisiana Red plays somewhat of a style that you might have heard decades ago at the Louisiana Hayride.
Yep.
There you go.
So you Shreveport folks, fuel up the car and head on down. But it really, really is a good cause. Now, something I wanted to ask you, Coach. We're with Coach Strother over from St. Thomas More High School in Lafayette, an excellent school, has been for a long, long time. Tell us kind of about a brief history and the origins of the special needs program over at STM. How long has it been around? What was the impetus for starting the program?
Well, it's been around for close to 10 years now, and the options program started off with about 3 kids. It was started off with just a phenomenal vision in mind. How can we get our special needs friends to join us at the high school level and to really have a full high school experience where they're integrated into the sports and into the different activities and extracurriculars, and they're provided some wonderful resources that fit their learning styles in high school. And so slowly but surely, this program has been built. Now we're at nearly at 20 students. We've doubled the size of the classrooms, the resources, and we raised money for it because the school was not originally structured financially to handle that. But they have been such an absolute light on campus that we are absolutely committed to not just keeping the STM Options program, but growing it and giving other young kids the opportunity.
That's what's so encouraging and inspiring about the whole program. I didn't know it had been around 10 years. I knew it had been around for quite some time. Now, as we know, Moon Moon Griffon. This is the Moon Griffon Show, by the way, if you're hearing a different voice. I'm Mark Pope sitting in for Moon. We're with Coach Strother from St. Thomas More High School right here in Lafayette, talking about Hope Fest. It's tomorrow. We're going to summarize that before too long because our segment is getting a little short. But Moon came down here so his daughter, Maddie, could go to the options program over at STM. So you know you've got a reputation across the state.
Yes, and that's been a great blessing to have people coming from out of town. They look at the program, and families are moving, down to Lafayette to have that experience for their young child.
Yes, yes. And I'm sorry that I don't see any of the students here. We thought we'd have a couple of students to come in and kind of do their testimony. And, of course, it's Friday, and it's a gorgeous day, Coach. So, everybody's energetic, as it were. So I don't see any of the kids.
They'll be at Hope Fest. So if you come to Hope Fest at Park International tomorrow.
Right. So great cause, great fun, great entertainment. We know how to throw a party, a festival, a fundraiser here in Lafayette. So seriously, folks, regardless of where you are in the state, Alexandria, Shreveport, over in the eastern, western sides. If you have the time and you don't have plans, come on down to Lafayette. Tell us again, Park International is in downtown Lafayette. It's really not hard to get to. You can stop and ask somebody. Everybody has GPS, but it's in the heart of downtown Lafayette. That's not hard to find. Come off I-49, turn on Jefferson Street, bam, you will find Park International. You can stop and ask somebody if it doesn't jump out. But tell us about the times, and will be available if people do decide to show up at Park International tomorrow.
Absolutely, Mark. Again, Hope Fest is going to be starting at 11 a.m. Where do you get tickets? You can get tickets at eventbrite.com, eventbrite.com, and look at Hope Fest. Mark, I think we got the best live music ticket anywhere. To hear Mark Broussard alone play for $15, you have found yourself a deal.
Yep.
Much less an all-day live music festival where you can come and go.
Yep.
So if you get a pre-event ticket on eventbrite.com, you're looking at a $15 live music all-day ticket. At the gate, still a great price at $25 at the gate. Now, kids can get tickets if they're 10 years and younger for $5 at the gate. 2 years and younger get in free. That's Hope Fest tomorrow, Park International, downtown Lafayette, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tickets on eventbrite.com.
Well, I appreciate that, Coach, and I want to thank you and all the staff over at St. Thomas More High School for the great things you've done, and thanks to the musicians, because they're doing this gratis. So these are community members who know what doing a good thing for the community is all about.
Absolutely.
So thanks to everybody. Best of luck, and show up for Hope Fest tomorrow, folks. It's going to be a gorgeous day. We'll take a break, and we'll be back. We're going to be talking with Secretary Sean Wilson from the Department of Transportation and Development. It's coming up.
With just a sketch on a napkin, two bench warmers aspire to create an experience like never before. Walk-Ons is a hometown favorite with the delicious taste of Louisiana food, the loving energy of Louisiana culture, and the heart of a Louisiana good time. Join us at ESPN's #1 sports bar in America.
Hey, this is quarterback Drew Brees. Come support your hometown team at Walk-Ons, voted ESPN's #1 sports bar in America, because everyone needs a little playing time.
J&J Exterminator, the only name you need to know in exterminating. Folks, why choose J&J? Because they are the best, and they want to be the best. They can help you anywhere in the great state of Louisiana. Check this out, 24-hour response time, total pest control service, native and Formosan termite elimination right now. How about this? Free estimates, free termite inspections. J&J Exterminator, my good friend Mr. Bobby John and his whole staff love servicing you. We guarantee our services and offer unlimited callbacks, 365 days a year. J&J Exterminating has been providing pest control services since 1960. You can't stick around that long if you're not the best. And they continue to set high standards for the company. J&J Exterminating. You don't need another, folks. Call J&J Exterminating today.
Call them today, make pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
We're asking people around the country, what's the secret to your award-winning recipes?
I use Tony's Creole seasoning in my championship chili.
Tony's Sessions.
I use Tony's in my award-winning chicken and rice recipe.
Tony's Sessions.
I use Tony's in my blue ribbon pie.
Just kidding. But I do use it in everything else.
Great cooks agree. Tony Chachere's famous Creole seasoning brings out the flavor in all your favorite foods. Tony Chachere's makes everything taste great.
Money is showering down every Monday in April at Coshada Casino Resort during the $100,000 April Showers of Cash giveaways. Yes, every Monday in April, every half hour between 6 and 9:30 p.m., there's a whirlwind drawing for cash. Then at 10 p.m., the grand prize drawing is for all the remaining cash, plus an additional $5,000. It's easy to enter. You earn entry drawings every Monday in April from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. just by playing any Coshada slot or table game with your free Advantage Club card. Coshada is Louisiana's largest casino resort with luxury hotels, award-winning dining, off-track betting, bingo, the newest and most exciting slot machines and fast-action table games across a 100,000 square foot gaming floor. And every Monday in April, it's the $100,000 April Showers of Cash giveaways. Come win your share at Coshada Casino Resort in Kinder, Louisiana's best bet.
Folks, I've been bragging a lot about my good friend, Dr. Kevin Duplichat, and we've been talking a lot about NeoGraft. NeoGraft is where we can get people's natural hair growing again, and he can do it, and he's the best. He's a cosmetic surgeon, and he does a great job, and I highly recommend you give him a call. But don't forget, there's a lot of things he does. You need to go to his website, drduplichat.com, drduplichat.com, or call 337-456-3282. 337-456-3282. Botox, you bet. He can do that as well. Non-surgical services, surgical procedures, laser skin treatments. He does it all. And when you get with Dr. Duplichat, his great staff, you're going to be well taken care of. First-class type guy in a first-class operation. So if you need any kind of cosmetic surgery, don't hesitate to call Dr. Kevin Duplichat. Here's the number again. 337-456-3282. 337-456-3282.
And welcome back to the Moon Griffon Show on this gorgeous Friday. Right now, we have the privilege and the honor to speak to the Secretary of the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. That's Mr. Shawn Wilson. Well, welcome in, Secretary Wilson.
Well, thank you, Mark. I'm excited to be on your show and talk to your listeners.
Yes, indeed. Well, obviously, it's been out in the news that legislators and even folks in the administration over in Baton Rouge are talking about the need to increase the gasoline excise tax. So let's kind of start with currently where we are. And I'm just going to tell you the information I've heard. By the way, let's start with this right up front with the interview. Information out there is a little bit confusing. I've heard everything from the gas tax is 16 cents, 18 cents, 20 cents. I understand that the gasoline excise tax is 20 cents a gallon, correct?
Well, that is true, and everything you said thus far is true. I will tell you that Louisiana has a 16-cent base gas tax that was passed in 1989, and it was not indexed, so that 16 cents is only worth about half of its value today. Mm-hmm. We have a temporary tax that was put on to pay for 16 projects. That's the timed program. Gotcha. That was 4 cents. That, too, was not indexed, and it's not enough money to pay the debt service.
When was the time program added, Secretary?
1990.
Okay, same time, roughly.
Roughly about the same time. Okay. Then there's 18.4 cents that we pay to the federal government that is applied in all states, not just Louisiana. And that, too, was not indexed. And in actuality, it is not enough to pay the full transportation bill out of Washington. So a number of the issues exist with the current way that we fund infrastructure through the gas tax, not just in Louisiana, but around the country.
There's no doubt about that, Secretary, no doubt at all. Now, does the time program have a sunset on it, or does it go indefinitely?
Well, its sunset has to do with the bonds, because those dollars were bonded out, which means that we pledged money against dollars. So when we said we're going to pay this timed debt, we're going to pay it until we pay that debt off. That debt does not get paid until 2045. So I have to pay 4 cents, which is not enough, and then some to pay for that bill. It's no different than a mortgage that your listeners might pay for their house. They're going to go borrow X number of dollars, and they're going to agree to pay so much a year until it's paid off. And in fact, the 4 cents that we're paying, we're actually paying 5 cents today, and it's going to grow more than that. So we're in a tough position because infrastructure does not have a finite cost on it because of things like right-of-way, because of utilities, and of course, inflation has eroded the value of what we pay.
Okay. Now, as I told you, I read recently that part of the Highway Trust Fund in Louisiana goes toward drainage and airports. You qualify. I don't know. We didn't talk about that yet. Is drainage, which is obviously part of road work, is part of that money used for drainage, and does that pertain to a particular highway that's either being maintained or newly constructed?
Very good question. So we do not go out and build drainage systems at all with state dollars. What we include in road structure is we're going to make sure that the water that's on one side of the road supplies water sources on the other side of the road. So we will build culverts, we will build ditches, we will move water, but we don't provide drainage. Now, the Constitution that was voted on by 87+% of the citizens of Louisiana said up to 20% of the dollars we get can be used for 4 things. And one of those things is statewide flood control. So the department spends about $8.9 million a year on flood control. And what we do is we provide that to local governments and entities to make improvements on the system to help with flood impacts around the state. And those are not big dollars when you look at the cost of providing drainage and flood. So we do not do local drainage, but we do share our right-of-way. We provide for an avenue for that water and drainage to pass through property the state owns, but we do not spend significant dollars at all on drainage. And in fact, I would submit to you, given the August floods and the March floods that impacted 54 parishes, there's a lot more that can be done in terms of public works in this state.
I understand. Now, does any money from the Highway Trust Fund go toward airports?
No, it does not. And let me put this caveat there. Structurally, it does go into what is called the trust fund. But the dollars when an individual who's flying or you buy jet fuel, that money is isolated in our budget, and it's the only fund. It comes to about $30+ million a year. And constitutionally, that the citizens of this state voted on said any dollars we collect from aviation fuel goes directly back to airports. The money that you pay when you fill up your car, your truck, or if it's diesel fuel, that money does not go to airports. And so we have a system in our budget, like most businesses do. They will isolate funds based on the origin of those funds. And so we do not use gas tax dollars at airports, nor do we use aviation dollars on our roads.
Okay. So it's like anything else in government, Secretary Wilson. There are some complications, and people need to be educated. That's what we're hoping to do here. By the way, we have about 2.5 minutes. If you have the time to stick around for another segment, I don't believe we've gotten through everything we need to talk about.
I would love to.
Great.
I would love to stick around.
Let me ask you this. Let me be frank, because I talk to friends, neighbors, colleagues, and of course, we're in the news business over here in KPEL and all our affiliate stations. Most of them are news stations. There is a level of distrust with state government. Let me ask you this, point blank. Does money paid at the gas pump, the gasoline excise tax, does it currently go into a dedicated fund?
Yes, it does. It is in the Transportation Trust Fund that is constitutionally protected. Those funds do not go for any other source of revenue in terms of the general fund or other government services other than what's allowed by the Constitution. And here in the state of Louisiana, the legislature says, and the Attorney General's office back in 1990 said, if it is in the Department of Transportation, meaning I have to pay for operations, maintenance, construction, and the development of our infrastructure system, those are the eligible costs. Additionally, I have gone through, or my department has gone through audits every year since that time to assure that the dollars comply with what the Constitution says. So 100% of the dollars that you send to the state for infrastructure will go on infrastructure as allotted by or directed by the Constitution of the state.
Okay. Well, it's good to learn these things. And as I said, one of the things that's causing the level of distrust out there currently is there's an organization here in the state called Americans for Prosperity. It's nationwide. There's a Louisiana chapter, and they're making a claim in an advertisement that only 11% of gasoline excise tax goes toward road work.
And that is unfortunate, because I think that is misleading the public. They have excluded from their calculation the cost associated with maintaining and operating our system. What they're talking about is the dollars that we need to match federal funds. Every state is required to provide a 10%, maybe a 20% match for what federal funds come to the state of Louisiana or to their state. That's that 18.4 cents we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I am not allowed to use those dollars to take care of the roads that we've already built.
Mm-hmm.
And so by law, I have to oblige the federal government with their match, and then I'm also obligated to take care of what we've built. And so on one part of my budget, you're going to see about a 10 to 12% match, maybe even more, depending on how much money we're getting that year, going to federal dollars going out the door. And then you're going to see another budget item that says I'm going to spend about $400 to $500 million maintaining the billions of dollars that we've invested. How do you take care of bridges once you build them? How do you take care of roads once they're there? And that is how we spend our dollars.
Secretary, we're on a hard break now. If you can stand by, we'll take a few more minutes on the other side of the break, and we'd like to continue the conversation. We really appreciate you being here. We're speaking with Secretary of Department of Transportation, Shawn Wilson. Stay tuned. We'll be back just around the corner.
Folks, I've been bragging a lot about my good friend, Dr. Kevin Duplichan, and we've been talking a lot about NeoGraft. NeoGraft is where we can get people's natural hair growing again, and he can do it, and he's the best. He's a cosmetic surgeon, and he does a great job, and I highly recommend you give him a call. But don't forget, there's a lot of things he does. You need to go to his website, drduplichan.com, drduplichan.com, or call 337-456-3282. 337-456-3282. Botox, you bet. He can do that as well. Non-surgical services, surgical procedures, laser skin treatments. He does it all. And when you get with Dr. Duplichan, his great staff, you're going to be well taken care of. First-class type guy in a first-class operation. So if you need any kind of cosmetic surgery, don't hesitate to call Dr. Kevin Duplichan. Here's the number again, 337-456-3282. 337-456-3282.
This is Trace Atkins for the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation. It's a brand new year, and here at Farm Bureau, we're going to make one promise for this year: to watch out for Louisiana farmers and ranchers every single day. You have enough to worry about with getting a crop planted and getting those new baby calves on the ground this spring. You shouldn't have to deal with government regulations and crazy laws that tell you how to farm. That's why you have Farm Bureau, the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation, the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
What does the farm mean to you? Maybe it's a piece of land for production, crops, or cattle. Or maybe the farm is just a place you can go to relax or enjoy the outdoors. Whatever the farm means to you, First South Farm Credit can help you finance or refinance that perfect piece of land. We've been financing farms and land since 1916 with competitive rates and flexible terms. For more information, go to firstsouthland.com. Equal housing lender.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by Dr. Kevin Duplichan. Dr. Duplichan offers NeoGraft. Get your natural hair growing again. Go to drduplichan.com. That's drduplichan.com. Always a first-class experience with Dr. Duplichan.
Bassmaster is coming to the Toledo Bend Reservoir in Manny, Louisiana. Come watch the exciting weigh-in show with the best bass anglers in the world. And while you're there, explore the free Family Outdoor Expo and interactive displays. There will be live music from Keith Frank and the Swallow Zydeco Band, a wild game cook-off, kids' activities, food vendors, and more. It'll be fun for the whole family. Be at the Bassmaster Elite event April 6th through 9th at Cypress Bend Park. Details at bassmaster.com.
Hi, y'all are. This is Moon Griffon. Have you been to Rascals for lunch? Yeah, Rascals Restaurant in Doosan. They're located in the same building as Black Gold Casino. I attended the Doosan exit right next to the interstate. Listen to me. You can't go wrong for lunch today at Rascals. Today's special is their seafood buffet. It's so good. It comes with all the sides you want. Potatoes, corn, green beans, mac and cheese, rice, peas, a rice dressing that's the best I've ever tasted, and tons of desserts for your sweet tooth. Don't believe me? Then believe the reviews online. Out of 5 stars, Rascals gets a 4.2 on Facebook, as well as a 4.5 on TripAdvisor and a 4.5 on Yelp. You want the best seafood buffet ever? Then head over to Rascals today for lunch. Rascals Restaurant in Doosan. From anywhere in Acadiana, take I-10 to the Doosan exit. Look for the Black Gold Casino right there by the interstate and head into Rascals. Take it from me, Moon Griffon. For lunch today, make it Rascals.
Hi, I'm Ronnie Petrie, Western Division Manager for St. Martin Bank. For me, being a part of the phenomenal growth of St. Martin Bank has been a dream come true. St. Martin Bank's expansion west from Lafayette through Acadia and Jeff Davis parishes with the ability to reach in Lake Charles has been so rewarding. With quick answers on loans and personal friendly service is what it's all about for me. Give me a call and let me show you how we truly can say at St. Martin Bank, we do make banking simple.
Banking made simple.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Sunny weather is here, and so is one great deal on 23 horsepower John Deere one-family tractors. Just $99 a month at Sunshine, including a 6-year powertrain warranty. That's a lot of power at a budget-friendly price to take on all of your yard work. Stop by Sunshine today and request a quote at sqsolutions.com. Offer ends May 1st, 2017. Subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial. For commercial use only. 20% down payment required. Taxes, freight, setup, and delivery charges could increase monthly payment. Terms, conditions, exclusions, and warranty limitations apply. See dealer for details.
All right, everybody in the car, let's go.
What are we gonna do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing too?
I don't see why.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not that far, sweetie.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already?
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Welcome back to the Moon Griffon Show on this Friday. I'm Mark Pope, sitting in for Moon, and right now we're still with the Secretary of the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, Sean Wilson. Secretary, again, we do appreciate you being here, getting the information out to the public statewide. Moon Griffon.
Happy to do it.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we've talked about several things in the previous segment, and you talked about the total gasoline tax paid by Louisianians at 38.4 cents. That's 20 cents on the state tax and 18.4 cents on the federal tax. And so let me tell the audience right now, the national average, folks, in your brain, say, what do you think the national average is? Where does Louisiana rank in relation to the national average of gas tax? That's state and federal taxes combined. The national average is 49.6 cents per gallon, state and federal combined. Once again, Louisiana is at 38.4 cents per gallon. The lowest gas tax paid in the U.S. is in Alaska, 30.8 cents per gallon. And the highest gasoline tax, once again, state and federal combined, 68.2 cents per gallon paid by Californians. So we're not at the national average, Secretary. What do the professionals at DOTD think about that?
Well, I will tell you, we are below the national average. But more importantly, when you look at every state, their infrastructure requirements are different. I will tell you that we have the 10th largest system in the country in terms of what we're responsible for with the dollars that we get. So if you think about not just how much you get, think about how much you have to spend to maintain, to be consistent. And so we're not comparable with our other states. While Texas has the same gas tax that we do, there's a different requirement. Some states don't have to meet obligations of the port. They don't have to meet some of the aviation asset responsibilities. They don't have to do some of the rail stuff that we do. We are the Department of Transportation and Development, and we've got the 10th largest system in the entire state, in the entire country. And We also are number 2 in terms of bridges, and bridges are disproportionately more expensive than roads. And I've got 12,000 bridges here in the state of Louisiana. I've closed 20 this year because they were unsafe and not able to carry the weight that they need to carry. And so when you look at having to take care of the number of bridges we have, the 16,000 miles of roads we have, the money that you send to us is by far the least amount. And then you also have to look at how much are states putting in transportation other than just the gas tax. We're unique in that we don't get any other dollars from the state on a regular basis in terms of our revenue system.
Mm-hmm.
In Texas, for example, and in other states in this region, they're sending sales tax dollars or general fund dollars to transportation in addition to the transportation gas tax. And so when you look at the overall investment that's spent in Louisiana and compared to other states, we are 50th. Hear me clearly. We are 50th for overall investment in the country because other states put other dollars above and beyond the gas tax because it's not enough to maintain and be competitive and develop their systems.
And the federal monies, it is supplemented. The 18.4 cents that goes to the federal gasoline excise tax, that fund, that highway trust fund, is supplemented with the general fund on the federal level.
Exactly. We're even the nation is better than we are in terms of adding more dollars to it. Now, I don't want to get into the debate around how wise they spend those dollars. That's Congress's decision.
Yeah, we're going to stay
But at
clear.
the end of the day, they augment those dollars because they know the gas tax is not enough.
Now, see, I never knew that ports, I knew bridges, obviously, but I never knew that ports were the responsibility of the DOTD, and I never knew that Louisiana had the 10th largest responsibility among all of the United States for what DOTD is to do in its mission statement.
And here is another kicker for you. When you look at the states around the country, there are 20-plus states that have less mileage that they're responsible for but have more people than DOTD.
Right.
In my 10-plus years at the department, we have reduced over 1,200 people in terms of our workforce, but our responsibilities have increased. And so when you look at a state that has the 10th largest system in the country, and you look at a state that has several others ahead of them that have less responsibility but more people, we are probably one of the most efficient. Our admin cost is only 4.4%, and you don't get that. And then you have other responsibilities that don't exist elsewhere in that the Constitution, voted on by 80+% of the people, said DOTD should handle ports. We should provide resources to local government. So we're providing about $46 million a year to parish government. We have huge responsibilities that the people have laid on us. Not that we're rejecting those, but by the same token, you can't give the state additional responsibility and not give them the resources to maintain what it is you've asked us to do and then expect us to deliver it. That is just not good business.
No doubt. Now, do ships pay any tariff when they go and use the ports, Lake Charles, New Orleans? And I'm not talking about a punitive tariff.
No.
They do pay a tariff. They do pay a fee.
It's a competitive rate because that is what the marketplace will provide. And so here in Louisiana, we were spending $19.8 million. This administration doubled that without raising fees, without raising taxes, by taking it back from the state police, which is allowed by the Constitution. We doubled the Port Priority Program. Unfortunately, with 36 ports in the state, and I may have my numbers off right there, but we've got 30-plus ports in the state of Louisiana. Other states are spending hundreds of millions of dollars for one port, just one port. And we've got 7 deepwater ports, and we're spending $38 million. Miami spent $600 million. Galveston in Texas, the Port of Houston, they're going to spend a couple of $100 million a year, and we're spending $38 million. And those are dollars. For every dollar you spend, you get dollars back. You get jobs back. 12-fold at ports, and we're only spending $38 million. So the vast majority of what's spent at port is not coming from the state. It's coming from the private sector, and it's coming from local revenue. But the state is obligated to support that with a program that is legislatively driven, that has cost-benefit analysis tied to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not a wasteful program. It is an underfunded program.
No doubt. Now, what you need to do, Secretary, and by the way, we're with DOTD Secretary Sean Wilson, wrapping up here, got a few minutes left. What you need to do, Secretary, is get your best writer and put this all in a concise, easy-to-understand format, all the information we're talking about. Get it on your website, and I'm sure we'll see more things in ink in the print media and radio and TV stories as we come close. It's kind of some rapid-fire questions as we wrap up here. Okay,
sure.
The panel that studied the gasoline tax recommended an increase of 23 cents a gallon. I don't think that's realistic. That would bring in $700 million. That's what the panel decided was optimum, what was needed. What do you expect? Give us a figure, what you expect and what you'd like to see, kind of a combination, because I don't think we're going to get to 23-cent gallon increase.
Well, what I will tell you is the task force did not say 23 cents gas tax. What we said was the value of the needs that we have to meet are $700 million. And so I don't want to manage expectations and tell people we only need 500 when you need 700. Now, what we choose to spend, it has to vary. I think every other state, for the most part, are providing other resources to invest in infrastructure, whether it's permit fees, we're the lowest in the nation for trucks, whether it's registration, and or how those dollars are being spent right now. When you buy a vehicle, your vehicle sales tax is going to the general fund as opposed to transportation. But that is the structural budget issues we have in the state of Louisiana. So we think we need a meaningful investment that needs to be indexed, whether it's 16 cents, whether it's 15 cents, whether it's 20 cents. If you give me 5 cents, that's only $150 million because the gas tax only produces $30 million per penny.
Yep.
Is all we get.
Yep.
And so we have a choice. We can either accept less than what we want, or we can pay for what it is we say we need. And I choose to say, let's pay for what we need.
Well, it could be done in increments as well. You could earn the trust of the public. Say, look, we're doing this. We're going to tell you we're going to do A, B, and C. You can watch us, and then that is a consideration. Let me ask you this. Representative Sam Jones over in the Franklin area seems to be implying that this tax could be brought to the public in the form of a constitutional amendment. Do you expect that to happen, or do you expect the legislature to outright put a tax up and vote on it?
Well, I would say that my first preference would be to have the legislature do it because that is what we elected them to do. Just last session, they passed taxes, and that is their legislative and constitutional responsibility. When you take it to the ballot box, we have about 4 million people in the state, a little more than that. Over half of them drive or have vehicles, and so we would be asking everyone in the state to decide what drivers have to pay. I gave this example yesterday. I've got two members of my family. One drives, and the other one does not drive. The one that does not drive says, I don't think we need to pay a tax. I don't think we need to do that. And so she doesn't drive. She doesn't have to pay it, but she gets a voice in whether or not you have to do that. And I don't know that that's fair. And I have another one who does drive who says, I think we should increase the gas tax. Why should the one who actually uses the system and pays for the system be minimized or hampered by someone who doesn't? And so that's why I think this decision ought to be made at the legislative level. It takes 2/3 of a vote to levy a tax, and it takes 2/3 of a vote to pass a tax or pass a constitutional amendment for the people to vote on it. And it's a very complicated process when you ask people to vote on a tax. We elected our leaders to provide leadership and make tough decisions for us on an everyday basis. And I think this is one of those situations. I will accept the will of the legislature as any professional should do in state government. But I will tell you, unless you're adding a constitutional protection, which we already have, they're very difficult because the public doesn't get the details and doesn't understand sometimes the complications of how we fund our system. And so I appreciate Representative Jones. I visited with him this past week. He's a visionary in terms of what we need to do. And I think he's looking at the political realities. Infrastructure is too important to be mired in legislative politics or party politics. This is about economic development and investment and quality of life.
Right. Well, I was going to ask the question, Secretary, but because we're running short on time, I'm just going to make a statement. Please, I think it would be wise to put in a strict dedication clause in any law, even though that law may already exist. It would be a reassurance to the citizens of Louisiana that this increase in the gas tax is going to be spent the right way. And, that's part of what you guys do. You have to sell it to the public. So
I support that. I support
yes,
that
indeed.
approach. I've also said to the legislators who are looking to file bills, put it in the legislation that out of this increase, we should not be paying salaries and benefits for state employees. I support that as a secretary, as a leader of this state agency. That is what the public is looking for us to do. And so let's not be cloudy on this issue.
Mm-hmm.
We're not looking for administrative dollars. We're looking to put dollars on infrastructure. And that is a bold statement to make.
Yep.
And I want your listeners to appreciate that as secretary, I'm not looking to raise salaries of my employees. I will take that out of the 16 cents, out of this new fund. Let us go build infrastructure because that is what we will do to earn confidence and to do what the public has asked us to do.
Yep. Well, good information, Secretary. We definitely appreciate you sticking around, especially for a second segment. So we'll see how things unfold. The regular session starts up Monday. Once again, thanks a lot, Secretary.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you and your listeners.
Yes, sir. Thank you much, sir. We've been with Secretary Sean Wilson, head of the Louisiana DOTD. We're going to take a break. Back with more of the Moon Griffon Show coming shortly.
ShopRite store opened with 2 employees in May of 1966 in Crowley, Louisiana. In 1994, the first Tobacco Plus was opened in Sulphur, Louisiana. These businesses have since expanded to 60 locations throughout Louisiana, employing over 700 citizens. The ShopRite and Tobacco Plus family of stores now covers most of the state. Tobacco Plus stores are widely known for providing discount prices on a variety of tobacco products, as well as having great prices on fuel, fine wines, and liquors found in each store, again at discount prices. Hence, the plus in Tobacco Plus. ShopRite stores provide great prices for many day-to-day items, from the famous overstuffed shrimp po' boys in the deli to the newly remodeled restrooms. ShopRite stores provide great service in a family-friendly atmosphere. The hallmark of all ShopRite stores and Tobacco Plus stores is that we treat you like family while working to save you money on every purchase. Louisiana owned and Louisiana proud. Shop ShopRite and Tobacco Plus stores.
We're asking people around the country, what's the secret to your award-winning recipes?
I use Tony's Creole seasoning in my championship chili.
Tony's Sasheries. I use Tony's in my award-winning chicken and rice recipe. Tony's Sasheries.
I use Tony's in my blue ribbon pie. Just kidding, but I do use it in everything else.
Great cooks agree. Tony's Sasheries' famous Creole seasoning brings out the flavor in all your favorite foods. Tony's Sasheries makes everything taste great.
With just a sketch on a napkin, 2 bench warmers aspire to create an experience like never before. Walk-Ons is a hometown favorite with the delicious taste of Louisiana food, the loving energy of Louisiana culture, and the heart of a Louisiana good time. Join us at ESPN's #1 sports bar in America.
Hey, this is quarterback Drew Brees. Come support your hometown team at Walk-Ons, voted ESPN's #1 sports bar in America, because everyone needs a little playing time.
I wouldn't describe myself as any sort of type, but if I had to, I guess I'm the type of girl who's just looking for an accountant to settle down with. I'm not particularly interested in the kind of CPA who's going to do my taxes once a year and be gone in the morning. I need someone a little bit more stable, someone with experience who will stick with me and see me through tough times. And now that I'm thinking about it, I know what I'm looking for. I need a Broussard-Pochet CPA. That's because Broussard-Pochet LLP is a lifetime firm, meaning their accountants will be there for you at every point in your life that needs guidance. Buying a home, growing a family, starting a business, retiring, and every moment in between. And for me, that's exactly what I'm in the market for, a firm for my future. Visit BroussardPochet.com or stop by one of our 4 locations in Lafayette, New Iberia, or Crowley. Broussard-Pochet LLP certified public accountants, your firm for a lifetime.
My husband, Mark, likes to have a game plan in everything we do. It was a decision that we talked about coming here. We knew we wanted to be at Lafayette General. I had my first child in another hospital. Coming here to Lafayette General, it was just completely night and day. This was like a 5-star resort. From the moment we walked in, I felt like I was at home and that everybody here was friends and family. I had doctors and nurses who educated me along the way of what was going on. I just was at peace and felt comfortable the whole time, though I knew I was in good hands. I wasn't ready to leave here when it was time to go. They took really good care of me. You have lots of choices, but from the very beginning, this was number one for us. We were in the middle of a very important football season, and our baby came just in time to see his daddy win the football game on Saturday. My name is Tyler Hudspeth, and Lafayette General is my choice.
All right, welcome back to the Moon Griffon Show. And yes, you got me going. It's Friday. It's a gorgeous day. A high pressure dominates throughout the beautiful state of Louisiana. So welcome back. I'm Mark Pope in for Moon. And right now, hopefully, we still have Rex from Shreveport standing by. Hello, Rex. Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show.
Yes, sir, Mr. Pope. Absolutely. John Lennon, what a singer. Hey, look, man, a great interview. All I need is 1 minute. Man, I cannot believe what that secretary just said. It goes directly to the heart of what this country was built upon, which is taxation without representation. We had a big... Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I heard the other guy. Anyway, when we first founded this country, the only people who had the right to vote were land owners only.
Mm-hmm.
If you did not own land, you could not vote. Okay? When that guy just said, one person drives, excuse me, one person drives, another one doesn't, why does the person who does not drive have the right to vote on a tax that the other guy pays?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly correct.
Mm-hmm.
You can turn it back around and say, look, man, if you don't own a home, if you don't have a child in school, how can you tell me how much I got to pay a teacher? You don't have any right to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, I like what the guy said, but you can turn it back around, right back on him. People need to learn the Constitution of the United States and right straight back to the founding of this country, or we're never going to get out of this trouble.
Well,
okay?
I agree. But you know what? The one thing that we talk about on a lot of talk radio is we need to get back to states' rights. That is a term that's misused a lot, federalism. We need to get back to federalism, states' rights. The federal government is too big, too encroaching. Now, that's a little bit outside of the realm of what we're talking about here. But you're right. But when you mentioned the Constitution, you struck that nerve with me. States' rights. The federal government is too big and too out of control.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Now, real quick. I know you got time constraints. Listen, when it was founded, the senators that go to Washington to represent the citizens were chosen by the state legislature.
I know.
Not voted in. Yeah,
that's right.
See, but that never gets talked about.
Yes, I know. You're exactly right. It is, unfortunately, our Constitution, a living, breathing document. The progressives, the left, have turned us in that direction. And with Trump and this administration and some element of conservatism, we're trying to get back on another path, but we're not there. It's hard to overturn damage that's been done over a long period of time. Excellent call, Rex. I really appreciate that. And excellent points, all of them, of course. And Brandon, what do we have? About 3 minutes before we go out?
About 3 minutes.
About 3 minutes. All right. So you can give us, I don't have my moon number. I bet you I do. Hold on.
1-844 766 6607.
That you see that we could be a duo. So that's the Hickson Has It hotline 844-766-6607. Give us a call and we'll definitely get you in. And on the other side of the hour, after our news break, we're going to have some more guests. In fact, if you want the other side of the story, we have Representative John Kay from Americans for Prosperity, Louisiana chapter. He's not a representative and as in government, but he is, I believe, the executive director for the Louisiana chapter of Americans for Prosperity. So look at that. See that, Brandon? You're too fast for me. We have Michael up from Lafayette. Hello, Michael. Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show.
Thanks, guys. Tell them you can use the app, too, and it works better. You can just dial with the app.
Excellent.
Listen, Moon's been harping on this for the longest time, and I happen to agree with him that this is ridiculous. How can this guy get on here and tell me that they're going to be responsible with this money when they haven't been responsible so far, and that, that if I put 20 gallons worth of gas in my car, that's $3.20 worth of tax I got to pay every time I do that. And it's okay to do that because they've done such a wonderful job so far of taking care of the taxes and the money they've spent. I mean, they've just raised our taxes. I mean, I'm on a fixed income, and I just don't understand how a state with only 4 million people in it can continue paying more and more and more and more when they say, oh, we need it for infrastructure, we need it for this, we need it for that. I mean, do something about the money they're spending now and, spend responsibly. They're just not spending responsibly. I mean, this guy just insulted me like crazy.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but you kind of went outside of the realm of the gas tax because remember, I did not know this. It was am I going to call Secretary Wilson a liar? No. Am I going to do a little research? Yes. Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development has the 10th largest responsibility of all 50 states for what is constitutionally required of them. They take care of ports. We have numerous ports. We're the Bayou State. We have as many or more bridges than anybody in the United States. So it's worthy of a second look. Are they going to get 23 cents a gallon increase? No. Do they deserve maybe 4 or 5 cents? Show us what you can do with that. It's a possibility. And that's not saying I'm advocating for this tax. I'm just saying I'm scratching my head right now saying it's deeper than I thought it was. Okay, we have to take a break. We'll be back on the other side about 6-7 minutes from now, and we are going to speak with John Kay with Americans for Prosperity, Louisiana chapter. We'll get the other side of the tax. And welcome back to the Moon Griffon Show. This is Hour 2. I'm Mark Pope, sitting in for Moon. Moon's having some fun today. I think he's doing a fishing tournament. He deserves some fun. That's a hard-working man. Speaking of hard-working men, we do have a guest standing by. That would be Senator Ronnie Jones, District 27, Louisiana Senator, and from Calcasieu Parish. And today we're going to talk to Senator Johns. I'm sorry, I said Jones. You're right, Brandon. Thanks. Where would I be without Brandon? Senator Ronnie Johns from Calcasieu. Senator Johns, welcome in to the Moon Griffon Show.
Good morning, Mark. How are you this morning?
Yes, sir. Very good.
Good.
Now,
thank you for having me this morning. Thank you for this beautiful weather, y'all.
We'll take credit for that. No doubt about that, Senator Johns.
Always take credit for beautiful weather.
That's right. Chamber of Commerce weather. So what we're going to talk about today, Senator, is the Bayou Bridge pipeline.
Correct.
Now, let's just start with a clean slate, and we don't know. There are folks for it, against it. Why don't you tell us your stance on the Bayou Bridge pipeline and why you think it is a good or a bad thing?
Well, Mark, I've been involved with the project for a number of months now, and I've studied it very closely. I'm in support of it. I actually testified at a public hearing in Baton Rouge a few months ago, very well attended hearing that night. Very vocal group, the opponents and the proponents. But that's what the process is all about. Everybody gets their say, and so I've looked at it very closely. The pipeline actually begins in Nederland, Texas,
right,
and it's into Calcasieu Parish right now, where I live and where I represent.
Mm-hmm.
That section of the pipeline has been completed. It's there. It's under operation. it's already been completed. The Bayou Bridge pipeline project, as being discussed now, would be an extension of that present pipeline from Calcasieu down into St. James Parish. And so I think that as I've looked at the project, they have gone to great lengths, I mean extreme lengths, to make absolutely sure that it's environmentally sound, that it is a safe pipeline. If we're going to do economic growth in this state, if we're going to provide jobs, if we're going to develop a strong tax base, we've got to do infrastructure projects like this, and I'm all for environmental safety. I'm been a huge supporter of mitigating our wetlands, but all of those issues have been addressed in the proposal.
Yes.
The Department of Natural Resources just a few days ago has done their work. They have okayed the project through their agency regulatory process. And so, as I understand now, they're waiting on the Louisiana DEQ to issue their findings and their report. And then if that is successful, then the Army Corps of Engineers would have to, at that point, issue their permit for it. So it's still got a long way to go. But I've been a supporter. I've watched it very closely. I think I feel very comfortable to be safe. I think it is the absolutely safest way to transport crude across our state.
Oh, that's a proven fact, Senator Johns. Now, let me ask you this. You mentioned Calcasieu, that where it would pick up, it starts in Texas, comes up to Calcasieu, obviously the western part of the state, and goes down to St. James Parish, you said?
It does.
That's the eastern part of the parish. I don't know if that's St. James or John. St. John's is closer to New Orleans, but it's the eastern part of the state. Roughly how many miles, Senator?
Let me get you some.
And that's okay. If you look at that, it's probably about 160 miles, 150
something
miles.
In that neighborhood.
As the crow flies.
Down.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some statistics
as
here.
The crow flies.
By parish. Actually, by parish, in terms of miles, my home parish, Calcasieu, is would be the largest amount of miles. It's about 49 miles across Calcasieu Parish that it would entail.
Yes.
But it's a straight line across through southwest, south central Louisiana into St. James, which is right below Ascension Parish.
Right.
And so there again, I think it's a very safe route that they've proposed.
Now let's to give the full story. Let me use a buzzword here. Let's dredge up some of the reasons why there is opposition, because it is set to go through the Atchafalaya Basin. We have lots of conservationists, folks who would call themselves environmentalists, who are opposing this. In fact, I read an editorial yesterday, Senator, and it talked about the carbon factor. It brought in climate change with this proposed pipeline. And, a lot of the environmental movement is totally opposed to what we call fossil fuels, which obviously crude oil is. Fossil fuels is still the most energy efficient way to run our lives, whether it be electrical, whether it be operating our automobile, heavy equipment on construction sites. Fossil fuels, gasoline, that fuel derived from crude oil is still the most efficient way to power our lives. So
it absolutely is.
Yes.
Look, I've got $80 to $100 billion of economic development going on in Calcasieu and Cameron Parish right now as we speak, and all of that is the basis of all of that. And people say, why? It's because of fossil fuels, and that's the whole core of it. The availability, the affordability of the fossil fuels, I've had people talk to me, so why don't you just transport it over the interstate in trucks, instead of doing pipelines?
Much more dangerous.
Much more dangerous. Much more dangerous.
Sure.
And not only much more dangerous, but the people don't realize that. And I sat down on a committee hearing a couple of years ago when they were talking about our interstate system and road infrastructure, and talking about how much damage a fully loaded tanker or an 18-wheeler does to our road system.
Mm-hmm.
And they estimate that one fully loaded tanker does as much wear and tear and damage to our interstate system as about 38,000 to 40,000 cars per day.
Mm-hmm.
So just one.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the wear and tear, but just beyond that, and that's a minor factor, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But the safety of it through the pipeline is proven to be much more safe.
Yeah,
so,
there's no doubt. There's no doubt. So what is the final step in getting final approval and proceeding full steam ahead with the Bayou Bridge pipeline, Senator Johns?
Well, as I understand, we still have to have the Louisiana DEQ submit their findings, their report. If that is successful, then it will go to the Army Corps of Engineers. The Corps of Engineers were actually at the public hearing that I attended in Baton Rouge that night, and so it's going to actually take a federal permit, a favorable report and permit from the feds, particularly the Army Corps of Engineers, and at that point, if that's favorable, then I think the project would be able to move forward.
Yes. Well, anyway, we know that the economic benefit is there. The value added to building the pipeline and then actually using it to transport the oil from the Texas area down to our state. That value is there. Everybody understands about wanting to keep our beautiful state beautiful and pristine. And look, one of my neighbors is retired, but he does pipeline inspection. And believe me, these folks, it's not an easy job. It's very detail oriented. They have to be meticulous in what they do in inspecting these pipelines. So there are safeguards all over the place. Again, we understand people who may oppose it, but some of that is overreaction. Some of it is just emotional overreaction. And, let's... it seems to be your stance. Let's build it, let's monitor it, and let's get the economic benefit that will result from the Bayou Bridge pipeline.
Exactly, Mark. And let me just tell you this in closing. Nobody wants more clean water, clean air, clean wetlands than I do. I mean, that's what the beauty of this state is, just extraordinary. We've got something very special here, and we don't want to damage that. But there has to be a balance between economic growth and those who are opposed to something like this.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't be against everything.
No, that's
there's
right.
There's got to be some balance in this, and I'm fully convinced that the safety of this project has been vetted extremely well,
Right.
and I think that the long-term benefits of this will be extraordinary for our state.
You'll get a kick out of this, Senator Johns, as we wrap up here. I worked for the local government here in Lafayette. I was the environmental manager, and when I came in 1990, the term was not in my backyard. Don't build anything in my backyard. So it was NIMBY, not in my backyard. As things progressed, about 5, 6, 7 years later, it turned into the banana syndrome, which is, and we're talking about environmental issues, build absolutely nothing anywhere near anybody, banana syndrome. And currently, as I just retired, late 2016, as I was getting to retire that last year, I heard about the latest reaction of environmentalists to things like the Bayou Bridge pipeline and things that may have an effect on the environment. And it is, nope, not on planet Earth. Don't build it on planet Earth. NOPE, nope. So anyway, Bayou Bridge pipeline is it's a good thing. The safeguards will be there, and we really appreciate your time today, Senator Johns.
Well, Well, thank you, and I hope Moon brings some fish home for you.
There you go.
You know, he needs to take good care of you.
Moon's a good man, Senator. Well, Senator, we're going to wrap up. Thank you very much, Senator Ronnie Johns, District 27 from Calcasieu Parish. Thanks a lot. And more Moon Griffon coming up after we take this time out. Stay with us.
First ShopRite store opened with 2 employees in May of 1966 in Crowley, Louisiana. In 1994, the first Tobacco Plus was opened in Sulphur, Louisiana. These businesses have since expanded to 60 locations throughout Louisiana, employing over 700 citizens. The ShopRite and Tobacco Plus family of stores now covers most of the state. Tobacco Plus stores are widely known for providing discount prices on a variety of tobacco products, as well as having great prices on fuel, fine wines, and liquors found in each store, again at discount prices. Hence, the plus in Tobacco Plus. ShopRite stores provide great prices for many day-to-day items, from the famous overstuffed shrimp po' boys in the deli to the newly remodeled restrooms. ShopRite stores provide great service in a family-friendly atmosphere. The hallmark of all ShopRite stores and Tobacco Plus stores is that we treat you like family while working to save you money on every purchase. Louisiana-owned and Louisiana proud. ShopRite and Tobacco Plus stores.
What does the farm mean to you? Maybe it's a piece of land for production, crops, or cattle. Or maybe the farm is just a place you can go to relax or enjoy the outdoors. Whatever the farm means to you, First South Farm Credit can help you finance or refinance that perfect piece of land. We've been financing farms and land since 1916 with competitive rates and flexible terms up to 30 years. Our professionals know land and land financing. First South provides fast, friendly turnaround to help you secure your ideal tract of land. The farm could be your next business venture, your next land or timber investment, or perhaps your new getaway. At First South, we will help you know what the farm means to you and make your farm purchase a reality. For more information, go to firstsouthland.com. Equal housing lender.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by WCC Furniture and Mattress Center, 255 Ridge Road, right behind Burlington. Non-commissioned salespeople make for a no-pressure buying experience at WCC Furniture and Mattress Center. Online at WCCFurniture.com.
Hi, I'm Ronnie Petrie, Western Division Manager for St. Martin Bank. Growing up in Jeb Davis Parish and being involved in the business community is something I'm very proud of. Working for a bank like St. Martin Bank that cares about its people and wants to grow with our communities gives me another sense of pride. Home mortgages, commercial banking, whatever your needs are, we want your business. Give us a call and let us show you how. St. Martin Bank truly is banking made simple.
Banking made simple.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Look, it's the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds zooming to the Key of Lake Charles Chenault International Air Show, April 28th through 30th. Bring the family as the Thunderbirds, the U.S. Army Golden Knights, and a flock of fantastic flying machines fill the wild blue yonder with eye-popping, jaw-dropping feats of aerial artistry. It's the Key of Lake Charles Chenault Air Show, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, April 28th through 30th at Chenault International Airport. Get your air show tickets now, including some premium viewing experience online at ChenaultAirShow.com.
Folks, you hear me brag about Eye Care Community Pharmacy and Gifts? Well, listen up. Eye Care accepts TRICARE. TRICARE is the prescription insurance of America's great military personnel and their family. Don't waste your time in line at a big box just to be told they no longer accept your insurance. Eye Care is your local family and veteran-owned pharmacy that accepts drug insurance, specifically TRICARE. Download the Eye Care Pharmacy app or visit the Eye Care Pharmacy at eyecarepharmacy.com. Go by 2807 College Saloon Road. Give them a call, 889-3170.
He ran for state office and was beaten. Started a business and failed. Ran for Congress and lost. But thankfully, Abraham Lincoln didn't give up. Persistence. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Won't you take me down to Memphis on a midnight ride? I wanna move, paying in a traveling pain. Yeah, but I'm flying across the land, trying to get a hand, paying in a traveling pain.
And welcome back to the nonpartisan Moon Griffon Show. I'm Mark Pope sitting in for Moon, and we just hung up with Senator Ronnie Johns from Calcasieu area talking about the Bayou Bridge pipeline. Well, that motivated a call from Chris Tozan, who's on the St. Martin Parish Council. So welcome in, Representative Tozan. You want to talk about the Bayou Bridge pipeline?
Yes, sir. How are we doing?
Good, doing good, doing great for a Friday.
Listen, before I start anything, I want Senator Johns to understand. I agree 150% with him what he's saying. That pipeline is the easiest and safest travel to bring these crude. I'd much rather see going through a pipeline than going across our interstate system on the Basin Bridge because of what it does to the highways and all. But here's my biggest problem with the pipeline. If you drive across anywhere throughout Louisiana and you see this farmer plowing his field, there's going to be 2 or 3 little white markers saying there's a pipeline under the ground. You don't see nothing else. That's all it is. It's safe to plow. It's safe to do everything you want. When you cross those levees in that Atchafalaya Basin, what happens is these pipeline companies come in and they throw the rule book away. And the Corps of Engineers don't police this thing and they don't follow up on the permits that they give. We got spoil banks in excess of 20 to 25 feet high. Spoil banks run from east to west. Your water runs from north to south, south meaning the tide when it comes in. Mm-hmm. What happens is it's killing our ecological system because the water they're building levees by doing these spoil banks. When they dropped the pipe, it was supposed to be 3 to 4 foot below the surface, the floor of the swamp, and they were supposed to cover this and remove all spoil that was left. All this spoil has been left behind. Where Bayou Bridge pipeline wants to run it's in the same place that Florida gas pipeline ran theirs. And it's out of compliance right now because what they did is they put the pipeline inside the spoil. So if you look at it, instead of being at 3 foot below the floor of the swamp, it's sitting inside of a 20-foot hill that's running straight through our basin that runs from east to west that's making a dam inside.
Okay, I understand, Representative Tozan, but tell me something. Define who they is. Who is they that are creating the spoil banks and they were supposed to remove it? Define they. Who's they?
All the pipeline companies that came in there didn't do their jobs right.
Okay. So have you and some of your constituents, obviously you have some objective to the Bayou Bridge pipeline, which will cross the Atchafalaya Basin, of which St. Martin Parish is part of, or the Atchafalaya Basin in St. Martin Parish. Have you and your constituents expressed this concern at either a hearing or to the folks that will be building the pipeline?
Yes, we met with the guys that are in charge of the pipeline, people that were involved in this and all. We went to the public hearing. We voiced our opinion. But this is a long-going process. And listen, we have some pipeline companies come through the basin, and they do this job like it's supposed to be done. They bury their spoil. They remove it. They don't leave it there. They actually take it sometimes better than they left it. Mm-hmm. The problem we have with the Bayou Bridge pipeline, we don't oppose the pipeline coming through. We just want to make sure that it's done right. But the pipeline, the right-of-way they're going to be running this pipeline through, if you look at it, is not in compliance because the people that came before them that ran the pipeline, they put it in the swamp floor. What they did is they put it in this 20-foot hill that's on the side, which is actually the spoil bank.
Has Senator Fred Mills helped you at all?
Yes, Senator Fred Mills has been a big part of trying to help us get this. We've met with DNR. We've met with different people and all. We actually had a meeting yesterday with some senators that chair the Natural Resources Committee. We're looking at some of this stuff getting done, but it's just frustrating because why can't we do it perfect on the outside, but once we get to the Atchafalaya Basin, it's like we just throw the rule book away.
No,
like I said, we don't oppose. I don't oppose pipeline companies whatsoever. I'm glad to see it going through a pipeline instead of going through our interstate system. We just asking that they do it right, and it doesn't hurt our crawfishermen, our sports fishermen, just the people that enjoy the basin and everything, and our ecological system.
No doubt about that, Representative Tozan. And it sounds like you've got a good point there. Keep pushing. That's why you're elected. I'm sure that's why you ran for office. You care about our beautiful state and the area you're from and that you represent. And we do have to wrap up because we have less than a minute. It's what we call a hard break, Representative Tozan. But look, thanks for your call. Great information, and good luck with your efforts, sir. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yep. So we will take this break, and then on the other side, we'll take some of your calls right here on the Moon Griffon Show. In fact, if you want to call us, Hickson has it hotline 844-766-6607. That's 6607. We'll be right back.
This is Trace Atkins for the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation. It's a brand new year, and here at Farm Bureau, we're going to make one promise for this year: to watch out for Louisiana farmers and ranchers every single day. You have enough to worry about with getting a crop planted and getting those new baby calves on the ground this spring. You shouldn't have to deal with government regulations and crazy laws that tell you how to farm. That's why you have Farm Bureau, the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation, the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
With just a sketch on a napkin, two bench warmers aspire to create an experience like never before. Walk-Ons is a hometown favorite with the delicious taste of Louisiana food, the loving energy of Louisiana culture, and the heart of a Louisiana good time. Join us at ESPN's #1 sports bar in America.
Hey, this is quarterback Drew Brees. Come support your hometown team at Walk-Ons, voted ESPN's #1 sports bar in America, because everyone needs a little playing time.
J&J Exterminator, the only name you need to know in exterminating. Folks, why choose J&J? Because they are the best, and they want to be the best. They can help you anywhere in the great state of Louisiana. Check this out, 24-hour response time, total pest control service, native and Formosan termite elimination right now. How about this? Free estimates, free termite inspections. J&J Exterminator, my good friend Mr. Bobby John and his whole staff love servicing you. We guarantee our services and offer unlimited callbacks, 365 days a year. J&J Exterminating has been providing pest control services since 1960. You can't stick around that long if you're not the best. And they continue to set high standards for the company. J&J Exterminating. You don't need another, folks. Call J&J Exterminating today.
Call them today, make pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Here's a tip from Terrio Family Dental. Dental health is essential in maintaining a healthy body. For those affected by diabetes, osteoporosis, and Alzheimer's diseases, poor dental hygiene can exacerbate these conditions. Brushing twice daily, flossing, eating a healthy diet, replacing your toothbrush every 3 to 6 months, avoiding tobacco products, and attending regular dental checkups will ensure oral and overall health. Click on this Town Square Media radio station's website for more tips and advice from Terrio Family Dental.
The caring and friendly staff at Terrio Dental understands that going to the dentist for many people is no walk in the park and can be downright scary. That's the reason Terrio Dental in Lafayette specializes in sedation dentistry. Medications can be given prior to reduce anxiety, and they can provide nitrous oxide during the procedure. You can trust the Terrio Dental team to take the fear away and help you maintain a beautiful, healthy smile. New patients are always welcomed. See them at 121 Rue Louis XIV off Kali Saloon or call 984-3408.
The Bayou Bridge Pipeline will deliver jobs and tax revenue to Louisiana, and it will be built and operated responsibly with a commitment to public safety and to preserving Louisiana's environmental resources. Safely transporting crude oil from Lake Charles to St. James, construction of the pipeline will result in no loss of wetlands, and 100% of any affected area will be restored at the company's expense. The pipeline will be buried safely, at least 3 feet underground, with additional depth under wetlands, agricultural fields, roads, and other sensitive areas, and 88% of it will parallel existing infrastructure. And the Bayou Bridge Pipeline will meet or exceed all government safety regulations to ensure the long-term safety of our communities. The pipeline will use state-of-the-art technology to monitor data in real time and have continual monitoring by safety professionals who can close the pipeline valves within minutes. Learn more at BayouBridge.com, paid for by the Bayou Bridge Pipeline.
Hey, folks, this is Moon Griffon. I've been telling you Vermilion Urgent Care was coming to Abbeville, and it is open. That's right, Vermilion Urgent Care. Abbeville in Walmart Shopping Center is open, ready for you. The Uline Health and my friend Clayton Uline are open. They want to get you service, and they do the best job. Don't worry about running to an emergency room. Shoot, you can get in and out really quick with ZipPass. Set your own app at ulinehealth.com. Let them know when you're coming, and you can be in and out in 30 minutes. No need for the emergency room anymore. Hey, x-rays, sinus infection, broken bones, they do it all. So excited to serve you in the Abbeville area. Did you hear me right? Yes, you did. Vermilion Urgent Care is now open in Abbeville in the Walmart Shopping Center. They're open. They're ready to serve you. That's ulinehealth.com, ulinehealth.com. Don't waste your time in the emergency room. Let's get you in and out quick. Vermilion Urgent Care, now serving Abbeville in the Walmart Shopping Center. Vermilion Urgent Care, looking forward to serving Abbeville and the surrounding areas.
And welcome back to the Moon Griffon Show. Mark Pope sitting in for Moon, and right now this is a guest-oriented Friday show. Right now we have John Kay, the State Director of Americans for Prosperity Louisiana Chapter, and welcome in, John. Appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks, Mark. It's a pleasure to be on with you.
Yes, sir. Now, a lot of folks don't know about Americans for Prosperity, and again, I believe there are chapters nationwide. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Louisiana chapters of AFP, its origin, how it's funded, and even your mission statement?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, we are a national organization, like you said, but we have individual state chapters that consist of citizens of the state as staff who work on state, federal, and local policy. We work on supporting and pushing pro-growth conservative fiscal policy, and we are a statewide chapter here in Louisiana. Our mission statement is pretty simple. We exist to recruit, educate, and mobilize citizens in support of a free society at every government level, and our goal is to help every American live their dream, especially the least fortunate.
Yes. Okay. You covered that well. Now, what I did not cover well is to state that our segment here is going to mainly focus on the proposed gasoline tax that's going to be discussed in this regular session that starts up this Monday, April 10th. So let me start with this, John. There have been several media reports that specify that the total usage of DOTD funds going toward road work here in Louisiana is 11%. And some of the reports state that your organization is making that claim. Is that true?
We are making that claim. We have a 60-second web video out that lays out what's going on with the Transportation Trust Fund. And that, frankly, we don't think that there's much trust in it. We've had state legislators echo the fact that they believe that even they don't have credibility on the issue just recently. And I think that's a huge problem in Louisiana. I think that the fact that there's no trust in that fund, there's no credibility in state government whenever they say they're going to take money and spend it in a certain way, that before they ever ask for more money, they should make sure that they're spending the money that we're already giving them correctly, that they're spending it wisely and in a prudent manner. And we just feel that that's not the case.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, but I thought that there was another organization. I'd heard this, another organization whose website references that 11% figure. So I'm just trying to figure out if it's Americans for Prosperity or if indeed somebody else is coming up with that figure, because I just like to know the information, the statistics, and kind of the numbers to crunch as to how that 11% was derived.
Absolutely. That is a number that's pulled directly from the website of Crisis, which is an organization here in Baton Rouge that has done a bunch of research on the way that the money is spent in Louisiana. Their total number is exactly 11.3%. And that number has been referenced by Congressman Graves and others in the Advocate. And it's been reported, it was a number that was used in the gubernatorial election as well. It's on their website. We cited them as the source for that. And they took it, basically the way that their methodology was, is it was that group, which is put together by the Baton Rouge Area Chamber and other business leaders. They took the DOTD budget and they analyzed it, and they determined that 11.3% of all the money that goes into the Transportation Trust Fund, which is 20 cents per gallon that on every gallon that's purchased in Louisiana of gasoline, is 11.3% of that money is used on repair and construction of roads in Louisiana. It's very specific.
Yeah. Well, we did speak with a Secretary of Louisiana DOTD earlier, and his claim was that 11% number has to do with money from the Louisiana Highway Trust Fund that goes into a match to get federal funds. So as always, Johnny, it's never simple. You get two sides of the story, and then it's up to us, the informed people out there in Louisiana, to make our own decisions. So hopefully there will be lots of information. The good thing about this discussion is that people will emerge much more educated about how road repairs and that road fund is replenished. So that's why we're here. That's why we're having you on. Let me ask you point blank. Is Americans for Prosperity Louisiana chapter opposed to or in favor of the proposed increase in the gasoline tax?
We are 100% opposed to an increase in the gas tax of any size.
Okay. Well, that's an easy answer. So next question. Louisiana has one of the lowest state gasoline excise taxes in the U.S., our 38.4 cents a gallon. That's state and federal pennies. Is below the national average of 49.6 cents per gallon. Is there any level of increase in the gasoline excise tax that AFP would support?
No, absolutely not. We don't disagree that the roads in Louisiana need a lot of love, and that we need some more projects to be taken on by DOTD. But at the end of the day, raising the gas tax is not the only way to accomplish that. It's not the only way to put more money into the Transportation Trust Fund. But before we ever talk about putting more money into the Transportation Trust Fund, we should make sure that every single dime that we're going in there, that we're putting into that fund, is being accounted for and is being spent wisely, which again is our contention over this whole gas tax battle. Now, again, even if they come back and they say that they can account for every penny and that it's all being spent in the right way, we still don't think that a gas tax increase is the right way to go. There are other proposals out there. There are other ways to accomplish this that aren't punitive towards low-income individuals in Louisiana and don't increase the price of every single gallon of gas by 17 to 23 cents per gallon. We think that's the wrong way to go. We know that at some point in time, gas prices are going to go back up, and Louisianans may be paying more than $4 a gallon for gas. And we don't want to put them in a position where the state government or government in general, including the federal government, is accounting for almost 60 cents of every single gallon that Louisianans are pumping every time they go to the pump.
I see. Okay. We are speaking with John Kay. He's the state director of Americans for Prosperity Louisiana chapter. And we definitely appreciate your time today, John. So let me ask you this. It's been stated that the gas tax is spent on drainage and reports, and I somewhat confirmed that in speaking with Secretary Shawn Wilson. And I asked him, I said, does the Highway Trust Fund, that's where the gasoline excise tax goes, does that money go toward drainage and airports? And his answer was qualified. I don't think he was necessarily dodging. But the point is, government is a little bit complicated. And for those who didn't hear that interview, this was a fact I learned, according to Secretary Wilson. Louisiana has the 10th largest responsibility constitutionally required by, of course, the state constitution of any DOTD in the United States. So we take care of ports with that highway transportation money and other things as well. So it's a little bit complicated. So having said all that, it's a little bit complicated. There is a lot that's covered under that Highway Trust Fund. What are the alternatives for AFP to say, here is what we'd like to look at as a funding alternative for the Highway Trust Fund? What would you guys do?
Well, I think, first of all, the state government needs to prioritize spending on infrastructure without coming to the people for another tax increase. They've increased taxes and fees by $2.4 billion over the past 2 years. The governor wants another $1.5 billion in addition to the gas tax proposal, which is somewhere around another $500 million. Louisianans can't afford that in a recession that's happening in the state, with state GDP growing at negative 1.8% per year for the past 5 or 6 years. The one proposal that I've seen out there that AFP could support is House Bill 459 by Representative Tony Bacala. And what that does is it takes a portion of the state sales and use tax on motor vehicles, and it dedicates that to the Transportation Trust Fund. And that would be additional dollars that DOTD could use to build roads, maintain roads, repair roads in the state of Louisiana. That wouldn't cost Louisianans any more money. What it does require is that the state legislature prioritize state spending on highways and roads above other things, like giving out $180 million a year to Hollywood or these other numerous tax breaks that don't make any sense. They have to reform the tax code. They have to change the way the state budgets, and they have to prioritize rather than continually every single year coming back to Louisianans and asking them for more tax dollars out of their pocket.
I do hear you loud and clear. I think that you have to live within your means. And giving away money to the film industry, the quote subsidies, some say, oh, it's a great, wonderful thing. But look, we have to look at being responsible here, fiscally responsible here in the state. I don't think giving money to the film industry, and that's just one, that's a good example. I'm glad you brought it up. We do have to look at being more responsible down the road. It's time to live within our means. Seems like that's part of the mission of AFP, and I think that's definitely a good thing.
Absolutely, Mark. That's what we're here for, and that's what we're going to continue to work for as we move into this session and sessions beyond this one.
Okay. Well, listen, we definitely appreciate your time, John, and I know you've been on with Moon. My guess is the 60-day session starts up this coming Monday, April 10th. My guess is you'll probably be on with Moon some more because the folks that listen to the Moon Griffon show statewide definitely want that information so they can make informed decisions. So once again, thanks very much for your time, John. Great information, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you, Mark. Have a great day.
Okay. Hold on. Can you hold the line, John? Hold the line just a second. And we're going to go ahead and take our break, and we'll be back. We've been speaking with John Kay, State Director, Americans for Prosperity, Louisiana Chapter. Once again, John, thanks a lot, and stand by. And station affiliates, you stand by. We're going to take this break, be back with our final segment right here on the Moon Griffon Show. I'm Mark Pope, sitting in for Moon.
The Bayou Bridge Pipeline will deliver jobs and tax revenue to Louisiana, and it will be built and operated responsibly with a commitment to public safety and to preserving Louisiana's environmental resources. Safely transporting crude oil from Lake Charles to St. James, construction of the pipeline will result in no loss of wetlands, and 100% of any affected area will be restored at the company's expense. The pipeline will be buried safely at least 3 feet underground, with additional depth under wetlands, agricultural fields, roads, and other sensitive areas, and 88% of it will parallel existing infrastructure. And the Bayou Bridge Pipeline will meet or exceed all government safety regulations to ensure the long-term safety of our communities. The pipeline will use state-of-the-art technology to monitor data in real time and have continual monitoring by safety professionals who can close the pipeline valves within minutes. Learn more at BayouBridge.com, paid for by the Bayou Bridge Pipeline.
Folks, I've been bragging a lot about my good friend, Dr. Kevin Duplessis, and we've been talking a lot about NeoGraft. NeoGraft is where we can get people's natural hair growing again, and he can do it, and he's the best. He's a cosmetic surgeon, and he does a great job, and I highly recommend you give him a call. But don't forget, there's a lot of things he does. You need to go to his website, drduplessis.com, drduplessis.com, or call 337-456-3282. 337-456-3282. Botox, you bet. He can do that as well. Non-surgical services, surgical procedures, laser skin treatments. He does it all. And when you get with Dr. Duplessis and his great staff, you're going to be well taken care of. First-class type guy in a first-class operation. So if you need any kind of cosmetic surgery, don't hesitate to call Dr. Kevin Duplessis. Here's the number again, 337-456-3282. 337-456-3282.
It's finally Friday. It is here, and I bet you're ready for some lunch. Petroleum Club has got what you need today. Look, members and their guests, you're going to be treated all kinds of goodies today. They're having seafood gumbo And they're having fried catfish, just two of the delicious things they're going to have on that Petroleum Club buffet menu for members and their guests today. If you're not a member, no problem. We'll talk about that coming up in a minute. Today's menu also on that buffet featuring Cajun seafood pasta, smothered pork chops. They're going to have rice and gravy today, scalloped potatoes over at Petroleum Club. They'll have fresh broccoli on the buffet, green beans, buttered carrots. They're going to have pinto beans and fried okra. Plus, they're going to have a delicious salad bar. I mean, all kinds of fresh fixins. Wonderful desserts to go with that, too. And if you're not a member of the Petroleum Club, don't miss out anymore. Call them today. They'll take you on a tour. They'll invite you to lunch. 232 Club for the Petroleum Club in the heart of the oil center.
Hi, y'all all. This is Moon Griffon for United Tile, 1505 Eras Landry. You know, Stan and the gang at United Tile have been in business a long time, and they love what they do. They've got wood-look vinyl planks that are easy to install over your existing floors. Or you can have United Tile do it for you. They also got wood-look porcelain tiles, porcelain natural stone look tiles, and a large selection of deco tiles for backsplash, and they have new samples coming in all the time. When it comes to flooring, tubes, and setting materials, United Tile has something for everyone. United Tile has a licensed interior designer, Amy Myers, who's been working since 2003, and she's available for in-store consultation. With free estimates and a one-year work guarantee, you need to check out United Tile for residential and commercial flooring. Come walk on their floors to choose yours. United Tile, 1505 Eras Landry, and online at UnitedTileLafayette.com. That's UnitedTileLafayette.com.
Welcome back to the Moon Griffon Show. Mark Pope in for Moon. Moon's out having some fun, some well-deserved fun. We need to send him out more. I just think he'd be more jovial, more energetic. Could you stand that? Yeah, I think we all could. But it is a beautiful Friday throughout the state. Look, high pressure dominating, folks. It's going to be gorgeous for the entire weekend, so get out and enjoy it. The weather's very, very nice. Look, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of deviate from what Moon does. Am I going to pat Bobby Jindal on the back? Well, we're going to recognize something here. And I'm looking at an article that says, we were never huge fans of the previous governor's budgetary practices. He inherited a bad practice from his predecessor, Kathleen Blanco, of using temporary money for ongoing expenses. Blanco was in office when Louisiana was deluged by Katrina money. And as she didn't put it aside for special projects, she threw it into the general fund. So enter Bobby Jindal. Bobby Jindal did a lot of that. He did a lot of the same things. But one thing he did do, he privatized hospitals in 2013. Now, Louisiana's privatization of former charity hospitals throughout the state has pumped $2.7 billion into the state's coffers since 2013. That's what we told you. And provided, get this, faster, more efficient service for patients, an economic impact study says. And that study was led by former LSU economist, now he's privatized, Baton Rouge economist Lauren Scott, who was on the LSU faculty for 3 decades and right now operates his own firm. So we're not going to go deep into the weeds. And let me tell you that this article ends by saying, is the study totally objective? Well, Lauren Scott has a very good name for being objective and honest in his assessments, but it kind of makes you wonder because the companies that run the charity systems, and by the way, it's 9 hospitals throughout the state, that study was commissioned by the company that was hired to run the hospitals after the privatization. So look, numbers don't lie. A $2.7 billion saved by privatizing the hospitals, and a faster, more efficient service for patients. Well, that's a good thing, no doubt about that. So thanks a lot, Bobby Jindal, for privatizing the hospitals in 2013. That's one good thing we can say. All right, we have Joey in Abbeville who's been holding. Hello, Joey. Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show. Thanks for calling.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Y'all doing a great job for holding the fort down for Moon.
Thank you.
One of the questions I wanted to ask the DOTD guy was, I see these little buses driving around town that's got a sticker on it that has something about DOTD provided. Why is that? Why are we providing bus service with DOTD money? It just blows me away.
Look, I know this. I worked in the local government. I saw state funding. I saw federal's funding. The government is complicated, and I guess we could have a heavy streak of cynicism and say, yeah, it's done that way on purpose so they can hide things from us. You know, that word transparency, it's easy to say, it's hard to do. And my answer to your question is, I don't know. Lots of federal money is given for public transportation.
But don't we have to match it?
Once again, no. There is federal money that comes to the Lafayette bus system. I know we're statewide, and I'm sure each government works somewhat the same way, but government's so doggone complicated.
What I'm saying is, in order to have the bus service, the feds don't just come in and pay for it. We got to do something to get the money, so somebody's putting up money somewhere to get it.
Well, let me just say, I don't know. I know in the Lafayette government, which is where I worked, and I'm not going to cite figures because I will not get them right, but this is what I'll tell you. We took in so much money from riders of the bus service, and it cost the local government so much to operate that bus service. It is a tremendous loss, What it costs to operate the Lafayette bus system is nowhere near what the money that's taken in for riding the bus. The federal subsidy basically enables the local bus systems to operate. I don't know what that money is used for.
But let's flip it around. Where's that federal money come from? It's taxes we pay.
You and me.
So, yeah. So at some point, when do we say, you know what? It doesn't pay us to keep sending money somewhere. All they're doing is turning around, taking 10% off the top, and sending us the difference or whatever it is. We send $1 to Baton Rouge, we only get a dime back. Where's the other 90 cents going? It's being funneled off into all these consultants and purple social clubs and all these other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
At some point, let's keep the money local.
I could not agree with you more. Let me give you a little histoire. Histoire is always interesting, all right? Go back to 1956. Dwight Eisenhower, President Eisenhower said, we're going to build an interstate highway system, a 42,000-mile interstate highway system, put a 3-cent per gallon tax, right? And they said at the end of 13 years, 1956 to 1969, we're going to take this federal highway program with a gasoline excise tax, and we're going to turn it over to state and local governments. Well, guess what did not happen? The federal highway system got built under President Eisenhower, but that program was never turned back over to the states. Now, you're right. The 18.4 cents we send to Washington, guess what? It's not enough to operate the Highway Trust Fund. So what happens? The feds take money out of the, quote, general fund to put into the Highway Trust Fund. And guess what happened? Obama said, you know what? We're going to spend money on things like high-speed rails because it's good for the environment. So this stimulus money, a lot of it went to these boondoggle high-speed rail systems, trains, right? So in 2010, after the stimulus program, GOP governors came in Florida, Ohio, and Wisconsin. Guess what they did? They said, no, we're not using your federal money to build a boondoggle of a high-speed rail system. So you know, good things are happening, but it's extremely complicated about how we get money from the feds to build and maintain highways and how we get money from the state to build and maintain highways. And, yeah, you're right. We have to hold our elected officials accountable.
Yep. And I read an article about Dr. Carson with HUD. Mm-hmm. He found $500 billion that was wasted or something like that.
Wow.
You know, I mean, there's waste in government.
No doubt.
And, you know, the general public, we're too busy working for a living to hold these cats accountable.
Yep.
Because in the end, if you speak up and try and put the finger on somebody, guess what? You're audited, you're brought up, you know, the IRS, look at what they did to folks there, you know?
No doubt.
And that's what's got people riled is they use their power to keep you in control and silent.
Yep, that's right. And remember, what's the lady who pled the fifth? who was in charge.
Lois Lerner and her boss are still working for us. Does that make any sense?
And Miss Lerner's on that big government pension, living high on the hog. And,
that's right.
Nothing happened to her. She said, I plead the fifth, and she walked away. That woman had a lot to do with some underhanded, dishonest, corrupt things in the government. And unfortunately, that's what we got to put an end to.
And if that was you or I, we'd be in jail.
Yep, no doubt about that.
That's what's wrong with the society we live in today is that the folks at the top never get punished.
No doubt, Joey. Look, thanks a lot. We're, I don't know, do we have time for the other call, Brandon?
Really quick.
Hello, John and Ellick. If you're quick, we probably have less than a minute, so be quick, please, sir.
I'll be quick, and if I'm mistaken on something, please let me know. But I found the Secretary's conversation with you very misleading. First of all, you asked him if any time money was being spent on the airports, and his answer was no. Well, there was about 14 different projects that the time program funded. One of them was